I know he's teamless, but who is he?
NaNiwa, your blue Protoss player. One that many people would call the foreign hope. Always surrounded by drama with him and EG. They seem to have a little bit of a conflict, it seems like, but nonetheless, NaNiwa, awesome guy. Tweeted a picture last week of being on watching the GSL with a theater. Like, everyone loved that picture, even EG themselves. NaNiwa's got a sense of humor, a great guy overall. Got the chance to sit with him for a few minutes back in Las Vegas, actually, down at the casino. Sham 2 actually hung out with him, and I was there for the bit of the conversation, but he loves the StarCraft. He loves it. They asked him if he would ever go play League of Legends, and he goes, I quote, he said, "There's no way I could play League of Legends because I couldn't wake up by myself, or I couldn't wake up, look at myself in the mirror, and actually think I play a game with one mouse, basically, or something like that. Like, there's no multitasking in his opinion when it comes to the game." So he does not like League of Legends. He's all into StarCraft 2.
Obviously a player who respects dexterity.
Yeah, with dexterity being all over the place. So
I'm surprised he doesn't play Terran then.
Yeah, Terran would actually probably fit his playstyle. But nonetheless, with Heart of Swarm coming up, I think that he'll be able to be all over the place. Again, when it comes to engagements, he always seems to be doing an awesome job. And in the last game where he was behind, what, 80 supply? He almost made it look like he'd go for a counterattack and win the game. Like, I was actually getting quite fearful for LiveZerg. I thought he perhaps might have thrown it away a tad bit. The control from NaNiwa is ridiculous, but LiveZerg, again, just finishing that game out very strongly in game number 2.
Yep. And now we are in game 3. Nexus first is going to be the build out of NaNiwa. LiveZerg is dropping a very fast extractor, actually. Super interesting. Definitely not the current meta. 2-base Infestor, 2-base Muta, or just speed. Could be just speed. It slows down your build a substantial amount, but if you're worried about the potential of all-ins or something of that nature...
well, I think the response to this is in game number 2. Remember when he had the 2 Stalkers and the 1 Zealot pushing across the map, NaNiwa did into LiveZerg? He actually had to build a ton of units to deal with those 2 Stalkers and 1 Zealot. It was hard for me to surround. NaNiwa was just out microtasking him. And so he just wants from here to be able to have speed and be able to stop that completely in case NaNiwa wants to do any shenanigans with that aggressive push.
Yeah, but it's, you know, when you get into that situation, now your Protoss sees you're getting the gas, so they're not going to send up the Stalkers, and now your gas, sure, it prevented them from, you know, making units, but if you do something to prevent your opponent from having a specific option, it's really you narrow the options that they have, but at expense to your endgame result. And so you're going to be having a harder time holding off whatever it is that you're trying to force them into doing.
Wow, okay, so the build actually for NaNiwa, I didn't realize this was a natural. He didn't put the pylon down going to the forge and didn't do a wall off. This build could have been just a pure response from LiveZerg saying, okay, my opponent has a walled off. I can just go for a quick speed timing with a nice amount of links, and he can't really do too much against me to kill it off. He's got enough links through the deal with the Zealot initially. He's got 2 Zealots popping out here. But interesting play here from NaNiwa. I was actually not paying attention to his wall off, but now I see the reasoning for actually going for that speed because he wants to swap in with these links. Unfortunately, NaNiwa is doing a good job of being ready for it. He's got 2 Zealots already out. He doesn't go straight into a Stalker afterwards. He's just getting out Zealots. And Zealots are really great against dealing links. Get a Zealot up here, get another Zealot up here, and suddenly you can't engage those probes. So NaNiwa should be ready, especially with the Sentry popping out.
No, this definitely is a very interesting opening. We'll see if we have a 3rd gateway come in at any point. Actually, he's making 3 Zealots. What? He's already got 3 gateways. Warp Gate's also getting ready to complete here in just a second for NaNiwa. And yeah, we, of course, this was... slightly different build, opening up with the Cyber Core into a quick expansion. Only now throwing down his Forge is NaNiwa, but with all these Zealots, he's actually going to be able to push out across the map here in just a second, and LiveZerg is maybe going to be a little bit thrown off. Let's take a look at his worker count right now, 32-30, so not too much of an economic advantage for our Zerg.
So this build is really cool. It was planned out to go against a 1 Queen against double expansion afterwards, follow up to just kill off that 3rd right away. And just LiveZerg went for a bit of a skillier build, and he's actually got a nice little counterattack potentially here. With Sentries though, and Force Fields, NaNiwa will hold that off, and now these Zealots are going to be charging straight to that 3rd, or that natural right away. There are so many Lings out though. He needs to hug up against that wall, that's better so this full surround doesn't happen, but killing off a decent amount of Zerglings, and it looks like he's going to bring his other 2 Zealots in as well, but very weird openings from both players, and they just kind of clash in a weird way.
Can he get into the mineral line, though? That will make it so much more difficult for these Zealots to be dealt with. Of course, full surrounds are nearly impossible in that situation.
There we go, taking some decent damage off. right away. They get a couple of them right away. Roaches are popping out though. Here for LiveZerg, followed up straight into a lair. Zerglings are getting surrounded on the Zealots. The 4 Zealots are really strong here. Again, they are 0-0, but they still do a decent amount of damage. And it looks like with that being said, we have a total of 4 workers killed off, but we have a third not up for LiveZerg. A natural has been extenuated. We do have it popping up. We have a wall off available for NaNiwa. NaNiwa is in a really good position overall.
Yeah, I like his position as well. Not because of the amount of damage that he was able to do with those Zealots. 4 is not enough to compensate it. If you kill 4 workers for what, 6, 8 Zealots? No. But he has forced out a ton of units from LiveZerg. And this is, I mean, we're looking right now, guys, at 26 Zerglings. That would be 13 drones and 4 roaches. So he's looking at 17 drones that could have been made that weren't made. And suddenly NaNiwa is, I mean, in a really good economic position. Looks like he wants to expand here. He's got his Robo, his Twilight. It's going to give him great ability to both see what his opponent is doing while being able to continue forward with upgrades and tech progress in general. He's even throwing down a few extra gateways here to make sure he's extra safe.
He's going to have a total of 5 gateways on the field, falling up into the other upgrades as well. Looks like he has +1, +2 should be queued up afterwards because that Twilight Cancel is finishing up very soon. We do have LiveZerg going for that third with units just sitting here, not able to do anything whatsoever. And it looks like he's going to be falling up into Burrow as well as Speed, really favoring that Burrow play overall. And with how it went for him in game number 2, I mean, why not? Usually a lot of players forgo that Burrow and go a different tech route or try to get a few more more roaches, or even moving up into Hydras or Infestors quickly. But he really chooses to have that Burrow on the field. So a little bit of a little signature, I guess, if you will, of LiveZerg. Third now on the way. It looks like he has the probe set up to go, and he's got the resources available. There we go, bringing his probe down too. That was smart, actually. He kept the Stalkers and Sentries with him in case he saw a Zergling down there, because sometimes you'll send a probe down, and the Zergling kills that probe up before you even get it up, and it's really unfortunate.
Yeah, but at the same time, you want to make sure you don't follow it too closely, too far, because then you can get counterattacked really easily. So that was nice attention to detail out of NaNiwa. Third base is down. 2 additional gateways going to be following it up as well. Overall, NaNiwa is just going to be playing this very tight, very conservative. And LiveZerg, on the other hand, he's going to be a little bit aggressive. Streaming out across the map right now, gearing up for a big attack. We'll see what he can get done with it. He's got about 16, 20 roaches or so, or lings, and about 10, 12 roaches.
So he actually had +1 queued up, and then he canceled it and went straight into Carapace instead. Interesting play from LiveZerg. Looks like he made a mistake, and that mistake might be a little bit costly for him. That +1 was, what, a good 30 to 40 seconds done before he canceled it out. Wonder why he chose to go for that route. Now moving into a 4th right away. We do have the double gases on the way at LiveZerg's base, and he's moving into Infestation Pit. So really gonna start turning out these Infestors. Gonna start having fungals available for him as well. And it looks like these rocks are being broken down. He's just trying to find a point here to where he can force NaNiwa to be out of position. Does he have an Overlord here? No, he does not. He has Burrow Zergling here at the 4th, but no Overlord. Oh, there we go. There's an Overseer. So we can get an idea as to where the units are for NaNiwa.
Yeah, he's going to be able to take out these rocks. That's going to open up additional attack paths for him. We'll see what he is able to do with it here in a minute.
Well, here we go. The aggression is sitting outside of the natural here for NaNiwa. He's got Immortals popping out. Stalkers as well as Citrus and a few Zealots in the mix. Gonna be able to handle this pretty nicely, actually. I don't feel like there's enough for him to be too aggressive. He's just fainting pressure overall while he gets that 4th. That Passing Glance has been queued up as well. And 1-1 is a little over halfway done. So LiveZerg just sitting back until he does get his upgrades available to him. But at that whole point, NaNiwa just in a really good position, I feel like. Looking into the Harvesters, 64 to 77. Looks like he's slowed down his production for a tad bit in terms of Harvesters. And that's moved into robotic space. So he's okay with playing the passing game as well.
Yeah, he definitely is. And if we take a look at NaNiwa, he did a great job there realizing that LiveZerg wasn't going to be pressuring too much because he made 1 sentry. In a situation where you have that many lings and roaches battering on your door, you could easily feel like, I need some sentries, I'm going to need to be able to deal with this attack. And if you force out those sentries, or if your opponent, I should say, forces them out of you, you'll be very, very happy. They're not going to be nearly as useful as you move into the later stages of the game. But NaNiwa made Stalkers instead, which ultimately is still a great unit to have in the late game.
I really like LiveZerg walking around and killing up all these rocks. He's making all these paths, all these chokes available for him, so NaNiwa can never find an opportunity to straight up just engage him and beat him out with a force field or 2. He's going to have to be a little bit more quicker than that in terms of the force field and have to waste more energy as well. It's just really interesting to see that. I don't see a lot of Zerg players actually going straight for the rock kills whatsoever, and he's actually cleaned them all up on the field, even the one at his opponent's natural. So interesting play there from LiveZerg, and I like he's doing that because he was keeping his units a little bit active on the field. does have some units in the bottom right corner, and these are ready for a counterattack. Anytime that the Stalkers, the Sentries, and the Immortals start pushing across the middle of the map, he'll start beelining straight to the bottom right. NaNiwa, though, has done a good job of kind of making a makeshift wall here, just to slow any type of attack like that down.
Wow, that changed, like, I don't even think I got to see the pylons.
Yeah, it died instantly. Really nice awareness there. So +1 has finished up, 2-2's on the way. We're even getting Neural Parasite on the map here. That's a little bit odd. We don't see that as often anymore. You usually just use it to grab a mothership, and that's about it. It's really hard to grab Colossi with that Neural Parasite.
You know, but it's not so hard to grab a probe and manage to throw down a Nexus, get yourself up to, you know, tech, and you can work your way to Dark Templar, which everybody knows are OP. So I kind of like that decision from LiveZerg.
Oh man, so true, so true. Everyone loves to go for the Protoss route. That's become the new meta, man. That's how you beat Protoss.
It's the new manner, actually.
New manner.
Yeah.
Well, 2-2 now, about to finish up, and looking into NaNiwa, he does have his Thermal Lance and his +2 armor. Oh, I'm sorry, that's just +1. Jeez, he's only on attack upgrades. He's really seemed to favor going for this a straight 3-0 compared to moving up in armor. Some players go 1-1 and then fall up to 2, then 2-1, then 3-1, but he just goes straight up into attack. But nonetheless, moving forward, there are a lot of links here. He needs to be careful. He needs not want to get surrounded by those links. He does have a blink, but still want to be able to get some damage down on them before you do blink away. Oh, does forward to go straight forward though. It catches 2 Infestors. Nicely done there. Does land here though for LiveZerg, but nice control here from NaNiwa. His Colossus are a little bit too far back for NaNiwa, or for LiveZerg to actually attack into him.
LiveZerg, that could not have possibly have gone worse for him. His Zerglings were actually so far away, and then he decided to turn around and engage, but his Roaches made a wall, effectively as if acting like force fields, so the Zerglings had to trickle through the Roaches. They were not able to all come in at once. They were not able to surround the Stalkers and flood in. Instead, they trickled in a small wave all over time, and NaNiwa just obliterated them as they came in. Drones now being pulled off the line. LiveZerg on the verge of elimination, and NaNiwa is about to secure a spot to IPL6. GG.
And the finals.
Yep.
Going to the finals as well. Nice control there from NaNiwa. Even actually towards the end of that engagement as well. Lings popped out for the reinforcements. And just to make sure that his Colossi were safe, he blinked the Stalkers around the Colossi so they couldn't actually be attacked by the Lings.
It was beautiful, man.
NaNiwa showing why he can execute in a battle.
You know, NaNiwa blinked forward there, and LiveZerg seemed to see this opportunity where I can throw down Fungals and trap these Stalkers, but his army was not in position. You know, his Lings were his fastest unit, Roaches then the second fastest, Infestors the slowest. So when the Stalkers blinked in, they picked off 2 Infestors, okay, but you can still run in this situation. The Stalkers used their blink. Instead, he turned around and fought, and the Lings were incredibly far away, and those are typically your headline units that you want to engage first. Instead, his Infestors were in the front of the fight, his Roaches were second to hit, and the Lings got trapped behind everything and they couldn't get in. Classic Zealots getting stuck behind your army. It was Lings in this situation. LiveZerg, unfortunately, guys, knocked out. NaNiwa moving on to the finals.
That's right, NaNiwa in the finals. He will be playing against Targa. It's going to be a PVZ coming at you. The IPL EU qualifiers for IPL6 is about to finish up, and I believe on Friday we'll be having the Korean qualifiers.
Exciting indeed.
I think we're gonna try and do that one straight up live. Like, we're gonna be feeding you the information as it comes into us. But nonetheless, guys,
I got a Korean account, man. Maybe we'll hack into that server. But guys, we're gonna cut to a quick commercial break, so don't go anywhere. We've got the finals, the EU IPL6 qualifiers coming at you. It's gonna be pretty exciting. Don't go anywhere. 2-minute break.